Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to the shop. Up on the bench today is a GM NV3500. This one was pulled from a 1993 Chevrolet K1500 pickup. We are going to split it apart today and see what is going on inside. So let's get to it here. Take our shift fork off. That just slides off, that's our little retainer. Off slides our shift fork. We'll set that aside and we'll get to the input shaft here. This one doesn't seem to have too much play in it, but we'll see what the actual condition of everything is once we pull it off. This truck only had 273,000 kilometers, not miles. It'll give you many places to prod it. But there we go, we got it. Set that aside. There's a snap ring in there, conveniently placed. Let's get our light in here because obviously I need it. Style snap rings have to be the bane of my existence. So, I did already have to pull the shift tower off. That's not too complicated. That's just your 4 bolts here, here, and here, and then your shift tower just slides off. There might be some silicone in there, so it might need a tap, but otherwise it's pretty easy. Right here is a 13 mil. What it is a little shift detent that there's a little spot down in there where it sits. Might as well pull our sensor off. So our reverse light sensor. Reverse light switch, sorry. So there is fluid inside, but that's fine. There's our fluid floating down the stream. Quick wipe. Although I've never personally taken one apart, these transmissions, the NV3500s, were also found in Dodge trucks as well. I imagine around the same era. Like I said, this one was out of a 93 Chev from 88 to 98. Now there's dowel pins on here as well. So separating this case, again, there's going to be some sort of sealant in there. Some RTV or whatnot, keeping it stuck together. But one annoying one out of how many isn't that bad. Now let's do a double check. This is also a 13. Let's just pull that out. Just in the event it is something that is holding the two halves together. That was probably the reverse idler gear, actually, thinking about it now, but we won't worry about that. Let's see if we can gently hammer them apart. I doubt it, but wipe off my hands a bit so I don't get my tools too dirty. Okay, so what I found was this little pin. This sits in there with its cap. There seems to be a spring behind it, which we can pull out. But this comes out too. Little shift detent to keep that rail. And now we have 2 split cases. Perfect. Now, then we'll get back to the rest of the guts. The inside doesn't look too horrible. Set our bearing off. Likely a snap ring behind this seal. So let's figure out how to pull this seal off. I'm going to try and tap out this pin, tap out this pin, and then go from there. There we go. Okay, so that fell off, that went down into the case here. Also, one thing I'd like to note is I removed this from my reverse idler, little support. So now that should slide back and forth. Let's get this other pin out. We got that off. So now this wants to slide freely. There we are. Okay, so we caught that. There. We got the shift rail out. Now we can slide our fork off. And now we have freed up that front part of the shaft. Now, we're not quite there yet. There is still these forks, which will come out with the rest of the assembly. And notice a snap ring on our reverse idler. I don't know if it needs to come off or not, but we're going to just get it off for the sake of it. There we go. That's good. So that was likely only to retain our reverse idler gear onto the shaft, and likely was for no other reason. Okay, so when we last left off, you saw me struggling with this seal because I didn't have the right tool, but I mutilated it and got it out. So behind this seal, in the tail shaft here, there is a snap ring. Once that snap ring's removed, everything will essentially fall out of the case. We saw me go through and remove these pins from our shifter cup and our shift rail attachments here. Once you're at that point, the main shaft, counter shaft, and reverse idler shaft will essentially just come out. You do have to tap. I didn't beat it too hard, but with my rubber mallet, I hit the tail shaft until it slid out, and then our counter shaft and reverse idler gear came out together. We have everything fully disassembled. It was definitely an interesting process. A couple other notes: when we are separating our case, we have to make sure that we hammer our dowel pins out. Otherwise, just the steel and the aluminum will cause the corrosion and they'll still get stuck together. But our main shift rail detent that is located in here in the case, underneath this cap, has to be removed with either a special tool, the proper tool you can purchase, or a nut or bolt welded to this surface and the use of a slide hammer to pull it out straight. I used a punch. As you can see, I've damaged it, but that's not the only real problem. The main problem is the damage done to the case. This case now won't seal, essentially useless, but with enough silicone, if someone was persistent, they could fix it, if this was your personal truck. Not that I'm recommending that, but the condition of the actual transmission itself, you know, we can look through our gears, we can note that there's no chips or nothing in our gears. On our main shaft, our synchros look to be in good shape. Alright, here's our counter shaft. Let's do the same. And we can really see all the teeth. You know, it's in pretty good shape. Our reverse idler is the same way. This transmission was in pretty good shape. Our input shaft, more detailed look. If you're interested in purchasing any of the good salvageable used parts from this transmission, you can find them on our Valorous Wrecking eBay store. The link will be up above and in the description. And that's everything inside of a GM NV3500 found in the GMT 400 line of truck. If you enjoy this type of content, feel free to give us a like and a subscribe. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. Thank you very much for watching.